it's just like anything you guys have in your toolbox at home. I'm sure you guys have got some type of product you like, whether it's ours or a tool or something like that, like a Milwaukee drill or something. I'm sure you like that. And you probably tell your friends about it. I used the product, so I knew what it could do. And that's just what I try to do. There's sleazy salesmen all over the place, and there's people that, whether they tell you a lie or the truth, but when you can tell somebody what you see, it's pretty easy to convey the message.
That's a head-on. We live it. The Live Ag Podcast. From seed stock bull sales built on generations of performance to commercial video auctions backed by real relationships to equipment auctions that keep operations moving forward. Live Ag connects cattle producers to opportunity. Quality cattle deserve premium prices. The right bulls deserve more buyers, and dependable equipment deserves a fair bid. Whether you're consigning to a Live Ag video auction, marketing seed stock, or moving iron through the equipment exchange, we combine local representation with nationwide reach. Connect with your Live Ag rep by scanning the code on your screen, or visit us online at live-ag.com. We are proud to be powered by BioZyme, the makers of VitaFerm and Gain Smart. Value-added nutrition partners trusted by cattle producers across the country. Now, here are your hosts, Ty D. Cordova and Casey Mabry.
Welcome back to the We Live It podcast. We're here today with co-host Wade Leist. I'm super pumped up that you're here instead of Ty, so we can have some more fun in here for sure. But today joining us, we've got Hardy Goodman with VitaFerm. Pretty excited to have you guys in. I know we've had a couple of your teammates on here in the past. Love the products personally, and I know that a lot of the guys out there that use this stuff for sure. So I think it's pretty good to have you on here, go through some things that you guys have going on. But to kind of kick it off, I know you got a unique past. We were talking about that here in a minute. Kind of tell us where you came from.
Absolutely. No, thank you guys, number one, for having us out. We really appreciate that. Appreciate the partnership. I grew up in a small town called Ty, Georgia. Probably never heard of it. Never been through
Spell
that.
that.
Probably T-Y. It's got a little nursery there. And a
I got stuttered.
Maybe Ty should have been here for this.
Yeah. You'll say something else and you say it too fast. So it's super small town there. I don't even know what the population is, but it's small. We're big enough to have a Dollar General. But most of America does now. So, but grew up there. Dad ran some cows there. Then I was fortunate enough. My mom actually taught school down the road in another county. So they let me go to school there, and they would send me a letter every year. Say, if you're bad, we're going to send you to your hometown.
Yeah.
But no, grew up there, always been involved in the commercial cattle industry. And grew up showing as well. I actually confirmed this with Mom the other day that she was carrying me while my older brother started showing there at our state livestock show. And so then we showed all till I graduated. So always was involved in the show cattle side. Like I said, went to local high school there, then actually went to college in my hometown. Never intended on doing that. But said I'll stick around as a 4-year school, got an ag degree there, and actually met my wife there also. So it kind of worked out pretty positive for me.
What college is in Ty?
It's actually right outside of Ty. It's in the next town over called Tifton. It's called Abraham Baldwin Ag College is what it's called. Everybody calls it ABAC. But like a local ag school runs about 150 cows. But a 4-year college used to be a 2-year. It's been there for about 100 years. It's kind of I guess maybe the more prevalent ag school in our area, especially from like ag teachers and agronomy classes and things like that too. So super local deal, but worked out really good to be able to stay.
What part of Georgia is that?
South Georgia. So like below the gnat line. I don't know if you guys know what gnats are. The worst things that ever been created.
You
mean like gnat, like GNH?
Yeah.
But you don't have no gnats down there?
Oh, they're terrible.
Oh, you're saying you're in the heart of the gnats.
We're in the heart of it.
Yeah.
We're right there in the pocket of where they just swarm you. It's like killer bees. They don't sting though.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Anyway, no, we're about an hour and 20 minutes south of Macon, Georgia, there in Central. But like I said, the gnats are terrible there. We're in a small town. Now I live 30 minutes from where I grew up in a town called Sylvester. It's actually where it's at. We're kind of in the quail belt, like I mentioned earlier. A lot of quail hunting around where we are, and we're actually the peanut capital of the world also.
Yeah, it's such a unique area, man, with all them plantations and stuff down there. Yeah, it's awesome. I've been down there hunting a couple of times, and it's a blast.
Absolutely. Guys come and ride with me too, and their first question is, how do you find the cows? Because it's just trees. It's just pine trees. Forestry is a big part of what we do in our part of the country too. And you can't see them from the road. There's been several circumstances where there'll be 500 or 600 cows, 30 minutes from my house, and I would never even knew they existed because you just can't see them. They're on a back road somewhere or something like that. But that's a little bit of my background. Like I said, the commercial side, and then obviously the show livestock side as well. My wife and I are trying to kind of tinker in this show goat deal. This is a never-ending pit. Monetarily as well. But no, her and I live in this town called Sylvester now, and have a little boy that he'll be 3 in December and have another one on the way that'll be here in October, 1st of November also. So super excited about that also.
Yeah, no, I love that area, man. And I wish, growing up here in Texas is so much different. I spent quite a bit of time in Louisiana, but that's like, you get Louisiana, you get the weather and you get the bugs and you get the mosquitoes, but you don't get to like how beautiful it is whenever you get over to where you guys are, where all them pine trees are. But, man, so the school you went to, was there a livestock judging team there?
No.
Okay.
No, we didn't have a livestock judging team. They just started a football team not long ago. Like it was not really any extracurricular activity, I guess, per se. But did some of that earlier on, obviously, when
like
I was in
FFA or 4-H,
stuff like that. But they actually didn't have that.
Okay, so it's pretty much production ag. You spent most of your focus on those beef cows and learning that operation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I think that's awesome. So you were able to get out of school, and then I bet you you're pretty attracted to. That school probably attracts businesses like like BioZyme and
Sure.
and like to go out there and for attract talent like you guys. So what are you seeing out there in your area as far as what you guys are doing?
No, where we are, a lot of it's agronomy based, and I'm hoping I'm answering that correctly.
Yep.
But when I was in college, also to kind of give you a little bit of backstory and kind of drove me to be back involved in this side of the industry because when I first graduated, I went kind of into the agronomy side, and I figured out real quick that I love farming and very thankful for everybody that does row crop, but I figured out my passion was not there. And I actually interned with a Sullivan supply dealer
Okay.
when I was in college and traveled around and hauled those trailers and sold stuff to people like you all the time. And made a lot of money doing that.
Yeah, you're like, man, this guy's
guys like you.
You're like, why don't you just leave your credit card up here?
Yeah. Let me start you a tab and just take all this with you. Yeah, no, it worked really well while I was in college. I thought I was doing really well back then.
Yeah.
But no, stepped into a different role when I graduated, actually in the cotton industry. And the people were great. And I just figured out, I said, my true passion and what I wanted to do from a young age was figured out how to make a living in the cattle business. Figured out I couldn't do it by owning a bunch of cattle myself. But figured out that actually, of all things, it's a small world. Applied for the job on LinkedIn of all places. Yeah. Interviewed the process, went to the interview process. And, like I said, started about 3 years ago now. So
you can feel really good. Someday your kids are going to go to college and you already put one through college.
Seriously. No,
no doubt. Yeah,
absolutely.
No doubt, for sure. What's crazy, and we'll talk about this a little bit, but because I like talking about, where I grew up, 30 minutes west of here.
Sure.
And when I was going through school, I felt like I was from an ag background, an ag school. And there's a school called Tarleton that's right down the road from us. It's very similar to where, there may be a little bit more stuff going on, but it's pretty much an ag school at that time. Or it was an ag focus where all the ag teachers were there. But man, it's crazy how I didn't really know what jobs were out there when I was, graduating high school. And obviously that was, a long time ago, pushing 30 years ago. But man, it's amazing. I spend, my wife and I both spend lots of time talking to the kids about what jobs are out there. Like I think about when I graduated, I was like, man, I wanted to go in the meat industry. I'm like, I'm going to be a USDA grader or, or some inspector or something. That's just the scope of what I had. But anymore, like with LinkedIn or different things like that, you guys can see how much more. And now, I fast forward to, being 25, 30 years out of school now, and I'm a business owner and like looking for talent like that. It's amazing how much better connection you can get because we try to hire people with your background. And so does Live Ag, and it's trying to get people that have actual, roots back into agriculture, not necessarily just I tell people all the time, I won't hire a 4.0. and so it's
Yeah.
not just hiring people off resumes, but
Oh, the networking now
oh,
is
it's
incredible.
yeah, it's unreal.
Especially in the ag industry. Obviously, it's in different industries as well, but just the connections made between industry events and things like that, you're able to find some really, really credible candidates for some of these jobs. And there's a lot more job opportunities from a marketing and sales standpoint than there has been in the past because there's a lot more places to reach, and social media and all those different things too.
Oh, absolutely. No, and it's really getting people excited about it. That's why I like the show ring quite a bit. There's parts of the show ring that I absolutely do not like. But we try to keep our kids into the scope of it. That is good,
100%.
Yep.
The opportunities that arise and there's statistics on this. I listen to podcasts all the time and think about it pretty thoroughly. It's like the percent of kids that show livestock and then go on to be involved in something in our industry or further above that, maybe a CEO or a industry leader in regards to a breed association or something like that. That's very common. And the sense of responsibility they capture from showing livestock is second to none, in my opinion. I mean, I grew up doing it. You go out and feed and calve out cows. If you got show heifers you bred and stuff like that, I mean, it's stuff you don't necessarily want to do, but you learn that's your responsibility and something you got to take care of.
Yeah, like our girls are so Reese
Even
is,
at a young age.
Yeah, Reese is 16 now, and so she just got a car and she's driving. And Avery
Nice.
is my middle one, and she's 14, and I got a 9-year-old. But man, I'm looking at Reese, and so I think back to even like 2 or 3 years ago. And she'll probably, if she listens to this, she'll kill me. But I used to sit there and go, like, how is this person going to function in society? Like once they get out of the house, and then all of a sudden you get there and you're like, she's 16 and she's driving her car around, that we bought her, and I'm like, man, she like actually might be able to make it, And so, and now, I mean, like I get out there and watch her interact with her peers, and she's in the FFA pretty aggressively now. And she's district officer and doing all those things and the different judging contests. And dude, what's awesome is like, she had to be at the school the other morning at 4:30 because they were going down the road to this conference that was going on. And she gets up on her own, gets ready, gets in the car, drives herself to the school, hops on the bus with the school, and then they go to this thing a couple hours away, and I'm like, all right, we're going to be all right, But I don't know if we didn't do that stuff. Like, how do you transition from being in a neighborhood or with your parent, like that to real life? So that's what we use it for. We try to really focus on it.
And I use this term loosely, and it applies in all different things. It can mean 1,000 different things also, but like organic, that stuff just happens organically almost.
Yeah.
When kids are showing livestock. And I mean, me as a younger kid probably wasn't the most profound, just doing, dumb things, but, getting into my professional career, looking back on some of those lessons I learned by, hey, you didn't have that show halter on that calf early enough and you had to show them on the rope halter, stuff like that. There's responsibility things you learned that, maybe dad didn't really know that I was teaching that lesson, getting taught that lesson. But now looking back, it's kind of made me into who I am undoubtedly.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We had a team meeting. I mean, this is anecdotal, but like Blue Reef, I got a couple of offices and one's in Nebraska, and those guys were down here the last couple of days just going through some strategy stuff and things like that. And a couple of them were, they showed livestock growing up. And I had them over at the house last night and I was grilling steaks, and one of them made the comment about wanting to go out to the barn and look. And I looked up and I asked my wife, I was like, hey, where's Avery at? And she goes, well, those guys acted like they were going to go out in the barn. So she went out there and cleaned the pens so it didn't look bad, I didn't even have to tell her anything, and I'm like, they weren't in that bad a shape, but she was worried that they were going to go out there and think her pens didn't look very good. So she went out there and cleaned her pens, but
that means something though.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like that goes back to like something my dad always said, like he would never let us walk out of the house with a wrinkly shirt type of deal.
Yeah.
A presentation. So she's learned that obviously early on. I was like, hey, I'm gonna make sure my stuff looks right. And that's important in today's time. That's what's going to set somebody apart in a job perspective or just, a role in life.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's a good thing those guys, I mean, maybe I should have them over once a week. That way I don't have to beat on her, get her out there and do it.
Well, I think clearly your background in the show industry has taught you some things that have helped propel you in your professional career. Is that something that you're still involved in? You're still involved in the show industry?
Yes, I still help some local families, obviously clip some cattle and help them feed some cattle also to kind of get things ready. We're set up a little bit differently. Like our state fairs in October, whereas a lot of state fairs are in the summertime. And then we have another show in February, which is kind of our end point. So and it's not called our state fair. It's kind of our national livestock show. We consider it's not a national show, but it's all, Georgia based there, but kind of our endpoints in February. So I still help several families clip calves and get them ready, help them find some here and there when I can. in my travels and things of that nature too. But yeah, I'm still involved. Never going to be out of it. Obviously, our little boy, he'll only be 3, so we've got several more years to kind of prepare for that if he wants to or not. But still decently involved in it as much as I can anyway, time allows.
So you get out of college, you're looking to get employed, you're entering the workforce. Was BioZyme or VitaFerm kind of the first place you went to, or did you have a stepping stone?
No, I didn't see that, but it's funny you brought that up. There's pictures of me when I was in college, and maybe some latter part of my high school career also. But I fed Sure Champ and fed the product, knew what it did, and I thought it was so cool that I went on our website back then and ordered a hat, and I wore that hat everywhere. There's pictures of me everywhere. And I was like, man, I love the product, love the brand, always had it, and so wore the hat till it was gone and never really even thought about the opportunity to work for the company. Actually worked at a place in college, also a ranch there, and the guy that was here before me, he would come by and visit us and gave me some other hats and stuff like that. And I kind of learned about VitaFerm, And when I saw it come available, I was like, there's no way this is, it was
Is your
kinda meant.
dream job, huh?
It's kind of, yeah, it was, seriously. I mean, I worked for Sullivan, traveled around and really found the knack in that and loved it. And I said, I think I could do this. So applied, and it's kind of all fell in place and allowed me to be, kind of follow my dream and staying involved in the livestock and the show cattle industry.
Well, I think
in
that's
that
pretty neat.
capacity.
You started out
Absolutely.
using a product, you
Yeah.
saw the value of it, and then the
Yeah.
door opens up, and now probably
Absolutely.
makes it easier now from the standpoint of selling the
Oh,
product
yeah.
that is something you already believed in.
It's just like anything you guys have in your toolbox at home. I'm sure you guys have got some type of product you like, whether it's ours or a tool or something like that, like a Milwaukee drill or something. I'm sure you like that. And you probably tell your friends about it. The same thing, from a salesman standpoint, I used the product, so I knew what it could do. And that's just what I try to do. There's sleazy salesmen all over the place, and there's people that, whether they tell you a lie or the truth, but when you can tell somebody what you see, it's pretty easy to convey the message.
Well, I think that's why Warren Buffett says to invest in the product that you're going to use, something you believe in.
Absolutely.
I think that makes a lot of sense. It's interesting to me that we have this partnership with VitaFerm with Live Ag. I have not been on our family farm for probably 20 years, working out, doing auctions and that kind of thing. And I just it's not really part of my life anymore. But when
Absolutely.
it was, I remember we had a coccidiosis problem. My grandpa and I, or my dad and I, would be out looking at calves, and there's a month-old calf, and then next day it's got coccidiosis, and we were just fighting it. And a
Absolutely.
friend of ours was selling VitaFerm, and he said, try this product and get it into the cows early.
Yeah.
And get the calves nursing and getting the minerals
Absolutely.
and getting to fight coccidiosis, whatever was in there. I don't remember if it's decox or whatever was in there to get in front of that. And man, it changed everything for that program, for our program at that time.
Absolutely.
And it's still a product that gets used, and we still push that to stay ahead of it. So it's interesting that we have this partnership, because it's something that I believe in as well. I've seen the results of it.
Absolutely. And we are proud to be partners with you guys on this. And what you said is 100% accurate. Our whole business essentially is built around technologies. I mean, we're really a technology supplement company. And the main technology that we kind of hang our hat on that's really set us apart in the industry is AmaFerm. It's a prebiotic in the diet, and we can get into that further on. But I mean, that's kind of where you're seeing, focusing on gut health and making sure that if we do the right thing on the cow, that's what's going to correlate back into the calf.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just like taking care of your factory or whatever it is. If we're trying to capture some value on the end product, if we take care of the factory, we'll be okay. I mean, they're just like employees. I mean, cattle are just like athletes or employees, is what I tell all my customers, or new customers, old customers, is that if we treat them like employees and we treat them like athletes and give them what they need and all the tools to be successful, they will. But if we don't do that up front, then it's really hard to squeeze a profit and starve a profit out of one on the backside.
Yeah, no, I mean, I said this once before on one of these podcasts whenever you guys were on here, but I mean, like, it's even last week. I feed Liquid Boost quite a bit to our pigs, and what I try to do is whenever they come in, that's a very stressful time in their life, and on those animals, and they're 45 pounds or 50 pounds. They've gone from a sale in Missouri, or a guy's place in Missouri, down to a sale. They've been commingled with all kinds of stuff. And then so that environment right there, especially that species of livestock, they're really susceptible to like disease and stress and gut health and things like that. And then we put them in an environment where I'm starting to commingle them back into my house with all the different things that I've got from, all these different places, right? So you sit there and go, okay, this is a cesspool. And I go, I try to hit them with, some vaccination protocol, some antibiotic or whatever. And I started using Liquid Boost about several years ago. And I was actually using Hydro Boost. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
A commercial one?
that's right.
Yeah. And then I found out that one's not as good as what the Liquid Boost is I guess there's more goodies in the Liquid
We've
Boost.
transferred everything over to
Yeah,
Boost,
yeah,
our
so-
primary product.
So then, because I was using the green stuff and then now I'm using the orange stuff,
Sure.
right? Is basically where I think through it. But I mean, it is unreal, man. And I forget about it every time I go to buying animals because I'm focused on all these other things. But like I told my wife, whenever it comes to August this year, I'm going to have a 2-gallon jug of it sitting in my house
That's what
because that way I can just have it in the medicator. So,
Right.
but like for example, last week I've got this group and it's our state fairs in the late September, 1st October. So I've got pigs that I've had in my barn for about 3 or 4 weeks. They're not really coming in and transitioning well. I've got the stuff that we're going to show in like the summer shows.
Mhm.
They're bigger. So they weigh like 250 or something like that. And man, everything's just kind of like not eating well. And I'm like, why don't I have the Liquid Boost in there? I put it in there last week. Everything starts cranking, right? And so that stuff's running through the water. What do I need otherwise? Like if you're talking to a show family like mine, I don't have a you sitting right down the road from me to talk
Sure.
about it. So like, tell me what I need to be doing as far as protocol goes. Sheep and goats and pigs.
I think you've got the first step pretty much set there. And what you said, kind of maybe forgetting about it. And I try to portray that message to our customers all the time. And it doesn't matter if we're talking, VitaFerm here today, or our Sure Champ products or anything. It's always better to be precautionary rather than reactionary. And so if we can, it's hard to remember sometimes, I get it. But the earlier we have that product and allow it to put it in our program puts us far ahead. But to a family that's just getting a set in, obviously if you're a multi-species barn, I think Liquid Boost really, really fits the bill there in regards to making sure that your gut health is where it needs to be. That product's very versatile. You can use that obviously on your goats as well, on your pigs, on your cattle, on your sheep. Very versatile tool. But families that are just, predominantly showing cattle, we have a cattle drench that we actually use in some of our Gain Smart protocol as well. We have that in a Sure Champ brand as well, to use on the cattle side. But we have a pelletized product that works phenomenal. It's a daily supplement, and going into that, in the supplement industry, there's been thousands of things brought out.
Oh yeah.
And I think Alan may have mentioned this in his podcast, but there hadn't been a whole lot of products that have been around for 40 plus years. And that's our Sure Champ pellet's been around that long. And we're very proud of that. And I think that's all built around the consistency of it. The consistency of the product and doing the same thing every day and bringing true value to those animals in regards to vitamin mineral package, and the prebiotic in the diet is very, very important. And that kind of ties back into, if you're going to use, our supplements, in this case, Liquid Boost, and then maybe if you have yourself with some diarrhea problems, you can use our scour gel there, per se, our cleanse gel. But be consistent in any of that. Consistency is key in that, undoubtedly, in my opinion. But set your protocol like you mentioned. Use your Liquid Boost. Use your pelleted supplement as well. We also have some gels. Those are very, very fast acting. We have actually have a really, really good gel. It's called our climate control gel. And as you guys know, it probably gets a lot colder up where you're at than it does down where I'm at, but it gets real hot down where I'm at. And these show livestock, and like even in the pig deal now, I don't want to get off too big of a tangent on this, but them things are probably pretty hairy now.
Oh yeah.
That's totally different. That you show
Yeah.
pigs growing up. Did
Oh,
you
yeah.
say that or not?
Yeah. No,
They were not hairy
no.
back then.
No,
huh?
they need hair.
Are y'all fitting those things now?
We're not fitting them, but they
okay.
need hair.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So like they're going to get hotter with hair. It doesn't matter if it's pigs or show goats,
Yep.
whatever it is. And we have bred these things to be, freaks of nature, if you will.
Yep.
Super extra hairy, things like that. And so in the summertime, it's hard. That's stressful on them. So that product works really, really well in regards to allowing them to dissipate heat. And we'll talk about that a little further later in some of our other heat technologies as well. But this allows those animals to dissipate heat a little bit faster too. So all this can be found online. Also, if anybody has any questions, and they don't have me, down the road talking to them about Sure Champ, all this is online. And you can find it in your local dealer network as well.
Yeah. So when you're talking about heat, let's go through that because is there a commercial application of that as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's talk about. It feels like I'm in this deal, and like this is not prompted at all, but I think it's interesting because we'll feed animals through the summertime.
Yeah.
So like I do battle heat bad. I mean, it'll get like we'll turn off here pretty quick, and it'll get to where it's 100 degrees for the rest of the summer. What are some things that we can use for that?
Absolutely. In the show livestock side, we've got our Sure Champ Extreme that has our heat technology in it as well. But, on the commercial application, that has that same heat technology in it. So, and that's kind of what we were talking about beforehand here. There's been some differences, I guess, in the show livestock industry comparable to the commercial side. And in all reality, everybody's just trying to implement good animal husbandry, I would say. They're all trying to kid out show goats, whether that's production or the show livestock portion of it, or somebody that's raising show cattle is trying to calve out the next cow. Whether that's an ET cow, that's a recip, or it's a natural bred AI deal. We're all reaching the common goal, and so that heat technology works across the board, and just allowing these livestock or cattle in this instance to stay cooler in the summertime. It's got a vasodilator in it, which basically allows them cattle to dissipate heat because they're going to send a higher level of blood flow to their extremities. So that ties also into cattle that are grazing fescue, having some endophyte issues, getting some constriction of some blood vessels there, and they won't be able to have the blood flow they need. So if we can keep, and the data tells us, I mean, it's 3 to 4 degrees difference in regards to temperature. And so when I always give these talks or go do a producer meeting, I tell everybody, if you go home and your wife or your husband per se turns the heat up or turns the air up 4 degrees, somebody's gonna be yelling pretty quick. Somebody's gonna be pretty ill, and they're gonna tell you, don't ever touch that thermostat again.
Yeah, it kind of gets like that in the studio sometimes.
Yeah,
I get it the other way. If it went down 4 degrees, all of a sudden somebody's complaining.
Oh,
absolutely.
really?
Oh yeah, 8 months out of the year, man, we got the heat on.
Yeah,
that's just crazy to me. But no,
we don't have a nap problem.
Man, that sounds nice. I went to Minnesota last year during the summer, and it was phenomenal. You didn't have any gnats, and it was just it was relatively cool comparable to what we are. But no, that heat program obviously has garlic in it, which is a really hot topic right now. Obviously, with some things in the northern part of the country with some of this tick issue that we're running into.
Yeah.
But that's basically a natural repellent is what that garlic is. So we have garlic, we have some essential oils in there as well. Also have a little bit of cinnamon. And what we're going to try to focus on, get them cattle to drink. And I don't want to get too long-winded. I know you got another question for me here, but like we can talk about hydration as well. If you guys don't drink water, or I don't drink water all day, and we're working out in the sun, like that's not going to turn out very well for us. We're going to get pretty dehydrated, and we're not going to be worth anything. The same thing with the cattle or any show livestock.
So I'm really fascinated with this heat product. So like what? Because I think it really has a commercial application as well. I mean, you got cattle kicked out on grass.
Oh wow.
You got cattle kicked out on grass. How does the heat product work? What's the mechanism there? Like what works?
What?
And talk to me like I'm an idiot because I am.
No. Well, I guess.
And give away all your trade.
Yeah. Proprietary information. Let's just go ahead and throw it all out there. No, from a commercial application, guys that want to try the product, they're probably not always, but they may be feeding a garlic product already. So it won't be that much of a transition for them, but they will see a difference in what those cattle do. But it's because those essential oils in there, it drives them cattle to want to snack more often. And in our part of the country, I mean, similar to where you are now, these cattle try to shade up in the mornings or in midday. They'll try to run out from under the shade in the morning times, graze, and then get back under the shade. And then in the evenings when it cools off, if it does cool off, sometimes it don't even cool off very much, they try to run back out and graze again. So what we try to do, especially with this proprietary blend of essential oils, get those cattle out to snack more often. And I always make the joke, like, as a kid, I was like a chip kid. I just snacked all the time. I was pretty heavy.
I think I'm on some essential oils.
Yeah,
I was pretty heavy.
Grazing.
Yeah, grazing. Yeah, absolutely. So those cattle get out during the heat of the day and want to snack more often. And if we can get them cattle to snack continuously throughout the day and eat more meals, we're going to see our body condition score on them cattle increase. Same thing in the feeder calf deal. We're going to see average daily gain go up. So that's just one big thing that our producers that have already used the product, they see.
Yeah.
And I always make the joke, and I saw it one time down around the house. It was a group of, I don't know, about 50 cows there. And they all had about 4 weight calves on their side. And all the cows were standing in the pond. And all the calves were standing around the pond. I sent the guy a text. I said, you sell snorkels also? Are you putting snorkels on them calves? That's the only way they're going to nurse those cows if you give them a snorkel. So that was a big thing. It's like, we need to get the cows out of the pond. They need to be grazing. They need to be productive for us. And that vasodilator in there helps that also. It just keeps them cooler, like I said, 3 to 4 degrees. And so that's the basics of the product. It's very simple. There's no super
Have y'all seen pretty good response on
Absolutely.
on grass cattle?
I have people call me
games?
all the time, make sure their cattle are okay. Hey, these things are out grazing in the middle of the day. Like, this is very odd
Oh, wow.
behavior for them. You know, they get blown away by it up front because in today's world, people have a hard time believing what people say up front the first time they say it. And, you know, when you tell them the product's going to work and do what we say it does, and then it actually does, they're calling you like, hey, you know, is everything good? This is working very quickly. And you're going to see a difference in those cattle, you know, 3 to 4 days in on our heat program as well.
Yeah, so you guys probably have pretty good research projects and studies and things like that.
We are alongside a technology company. I would say we're pretty close to a research company also. We have like 200 peer review studies on our prebiotic alone. We're always continuously working on research studies as well. We have some programs going now that are very exciting too. So we really focus and invest a lot of our funding into making sure we have the research behind our products, whereas a lot of companies don't do that.
You guys have had a long-standing relationship with Elite Livestock, which is a big part of Live Ag as well, with Jerry and Daryl in the Southeast
Absolutely.
there. In your time throughout this industry, and you know, I'm not sure how old you are, but a lot younger than we are, I assume. It seems like we've seen the reputation of Southeastern cattle start to change. And I think that VitaFerm might be one of the reasons, and I think Elite Livestock might be one of the reasons, but we've seen that reputation start to shift. What are you seeing from that standpoint? Do you notice the same?
No, I think that there's a lot more spotlight, I guess, per se, maybe on the Southeast. There's a lot of good cattle in that part of the country. If you hunt down there a little bit, but if you don't frequent it, there's a lot of things that can go wrong pretty commonly. We don't obviously have the winters that you guys do, but the summers are pretty rough. I mean, you've got all different types of things that wants to bite you, whether it's a snake, gator, or anything like that. But and I tell people that they always laugh.
Yeah.
But the pure humidity that we have is hard for cattle to be productive. And so, from our standpoint, from a supplement standpoint, we need to make sure we check the box from a mineral standpoint. Like we do so many things, and there's so many struggles that we face that we can't have a question mark in our head, and our producers can't have one either on whether they're giving those cattle what they need in regards to a mineral program. So that's why we have 3 breeder mineral programs. I don't know that there's another company that does. And we have 3 standard programs that have all types of technologies tied to those. So, I mean, I don't even know what the total number is off the top of my head, but with our bolt-ons, I mean, there's roughly 20 or 30 or so of those different individual programs with, you know, Clarifly and CTC and things like that. So we kind of want to do things differently if we're going to make a difference in the deal, especially in our part of the country, is we got to make sure they need to get exactly what they need, especially with our forage programs and things like that. And like I said, the humidity, and we'll be 110, 112 degrees at some points, and there won't be any wind either. So but there's these cattle are being more productive. They can go out and turn a game pretty fast because, you know, they're in a little bit cooler climate and heading west and some drier air. They seem to be a little bit more productive and have some true vigor as well.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's where I was getting at. Is like we're seeing the vigor change, like the
they're tough.
uniformity. But you know, a lot of that comes from producer buy-in.
Yeah,
right. You're showing them a program, or you're offering them
Absolutely.
something, and then there's producer buy-in. What do you find that probably resonates the most with a producer with your product that kind of that they can implement, that they say, you know what, that resonates with what I'm doing, and that I think that's going to help.
Was a game changer.
Yeah. I mean, I think a hot topic now. I mean, and this may be more on the stocker backgrounder side of things, and some guys preconditioned and some cattle is gut health. You know, we're having to vaccinate and doctor these things, and I talked to a guy not long ago, and I always relate back to stories that I've come across on the road. He told me, he said, "Man, I'm doctoring these things on arrival, and I just don't see they're not recovering fast enough, you know." And he said, obviously the cattle have changed over the past 10, 15, 20 years. I mean, our sires have changed. Genomics have changed. I mean, there's a lot of things that have shifted in the industry as a whole. I mean, we had a meeting today about size of cattle in the past, 7,500 years. But he said, I just don't think that the recovery time is where it needs to be. And he said, I think I have a gut health issue. And 70% of our immunity, cattle immunity, horse immunity is all based around gut health. 70%, when I made a 70 on the test, God, I was doing pretty well, to be honest. So 70% is a big part of the puzzle.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, hey, C's get to degrees, come on. But realistically, immunity is a big part of what we do. And so if we can focus on gut health, and that's what's starting to resonate with some of our customers is, guys, look, let's dig into what we do. And what's really starting to resonate more is like, hey, I'm going to come to you and talk to you about the ingredients of what we do, not the guaranteed analysis. That matters undoubtedly. That's just percentages. If percentages are something that's not very good, it's not very available to the cow, it ain't going to do anything no matter how much I pour out there. So I think that's really been a hot topic is parasite and fly control are also one, but really gut health making a difference and seeing what these cattle can do.
I think that's kind of what I was hoping we're going to touch on is I don't think there's anything probably more depressing from a producer, whether it's a background or standpoint, than treating animals and not seeing a response and going back out the next day and seeing the same thing.
Just laying there.
Yeah. And looking for those ears to perk up and then going out the next day and doing it again. I don't think there's anything more depressing in this industry than that. And so if you can offer, hey, let's get ahead of that. Let's not treat it from the back end. Let's treat it from the front end and maybe try to get ahead of that. I would think that would be something that would completely resonate with most producers.
100%. And I tell this at our some cattlemen's meeting. I speak out all the time. I always thank everybody for their attendance. I said, but the real reason you're here is because you love cattle. If you didn't love them, you would have sold them all pretty quick. Right now, for sure, you'd have let them all ride to town. So they like the cattle business. That like you just said, it's
well, that and they think it's going to get higher.
Yeah, hey, it's always on the incline right now. But realistically, nobody likes going out to doing that. And we had a program the other day that brought some like 90 head of feeder calves in. They background a pile of cattle, and I said, hey, just try this drench that we have. They didn't treat anything for the first 9 days. They brought a group in prior to that. They mass retreated in 2 days on 90 head that they brought in previously before they had our drench. And I didn't pay them to say that. So there's technologies. What we're trying to do is just focus on gut health. And if we can do that, we can build upon it.
When it comes to like job satisfaction, I would imagine that going out for 9 days and not having to treat something, like you would just be walking on air.
Oh yeah. I mean, when you said a second ago, like going out there, treating an animal, going out there and then it's still not perking up. I mean, I deal with that all the time, like personally, and you'll sit in the house and think about it.
Yeah.
Right. And you're like, well, man, I hope this thing, when I walk out there, I hope it jumps and hits the gate and it's standing there ready to eat. And when you walk out there, and that's why, I'm telling you, I bought the Liquid Boost, like it showed up. I bought it on Chewy. And it got delivered to the house because the local feed store I have only had the little 1 liter jugs or whatever. But anyway, I got delivered to the house and I was like pumped to get it out there and stick it in the medicator. So hopefully, I would get a response. And guess what? I stuck it in there 2 or 3 days later, or 2 days later, once it gets through the medicator and animals start getting there, they've got more vigor, they're more aware, and they're rolling. So it definitely is a product that it sells itself for sure. And that's not a sales pitch at all because I paid full price on Chewy.com to get it delivered to my house.
You got to start with a good foundation.
I do need to talk to you about getting some discounts or something for sure.
Well, you put him through college. Now you're going to start putting his kids through college.
I'm guessing if I didn't wait till the last minute to order it, need it later, we'd probably get some kind of condition or some plan there. But we'll talk to Alan about that one.
There you go. That'd be the person to talk to.
I'll send him a snap here in a little bit. So one thing I wanted to touch on that Katie was telling us about is you guys have a heritage film coming out.
Absolutely.
Touch on that and let's talk about that for a minute because I didn't know anything about it.
So that's something I'm super excited about. I've started to learn a lot more about the Brangus business, and going over to Alabama to visit with those folks. That family's great. Alan Haney and his family that manages it there, they do a phenomenal job. But it's kind of a hidden gem, I guess you could say. I didn't even know it existed, to be honest with you. Till Toby and I discussed it and things like that, and went over there. And I was just simply amazed at what they've been able to do with their program. They've probably got some of the better set of Brangus cattle I've ever laid my eyes on.
Can we back up just a little bit before we go down that road? Like I read the same thing, like about what heritage film. Like, what is this?
So this is what this goes back to our partnership here, and what we're trying to do is display and shed some light on kind of what we're trying to do. Obviously, in the partnership is bring some true value to our customers, and show what it's like, in the Southeast, shed some more light on what we're doing out here. It's a true heritage. It's what these people live and breathe.
So VitaFerm made a film.
Yeah, we have
regarding one producer.
Yeah, this is
okay.
and we're going to do more of these. But we're wanting to shed some light on day to day and kind of what VitaFerm can do for a program and highlight these guys' cattle in the meantime.
I see.
And we like to give back to our customers and bring some, like I said, some true value to them. And so we've got this film. It's coming out pretty soon. I don't have an exact timeline on it, but I'm super excited about it, especially to shed some more light in this part of the country. But they were actually the first family to bring fescue to the state of Alabama. And they've done a phenomenal job managing that. That can be one that's hard to manage, especially in the cattle industry. And so they have got a phenomenal set of cattle there and been using our product very, very consistently over the past several years, and saw a tremendous increase in their breed ups. And the cattle, the cattle look phenomenal. Like I said, I'm kind of new to the breeding still and kind of get to learn some more about some of these industry sires and things like that. And they've done a phenomenal job putting a great set of cattle together, and have been really, really pleased with what VitaFerm has been able to do for them, especially in regards to their breed up. Especially right now, what better time to have a great breed up?
So this heritage film, you're spotlighting one of the producers who uses
Absolutely.
your product,
Yeah.
and kind of telling their story.
For sure, and,
Okay.
and allow for them, essentially to kind of spread the word about products like VitaFerm, because there's people that have issues that don't know what to go to. There's customers that we don't reach. I know that everybody thinks that everybody has a Facebook or everybody don't read the newspaper anymore, or vice versa. There's people that don't see things and they're looking for a solution. They don't know who to call. They don't know how to find it, and that kind of leads into some other things about contacts, but. That just allows us to put out here and say, hey, there are products you can use if your goals are similar to what they're doing there at Johnson Brangus also.
Yeah, so that's going to be out on like your social media platforms. And
yeah, that's going to
YouTube
come out here pretty soon. I don't have exact timeline, but I'm sure that'll be on YouTube there primarily. I'm sure there'll be some TikTok reels and things, or that's Facebook, excuse me, Facebook reels and some TikTok videos and things like that.
No, it's incredible to see some of these. I've seen some of these different videos people are doing. It's incredible to like, and it's less salesy.
Yeah.
It's a great way to highlight customers and your products. I mean, I think it's pretty, I can't wait to see it when it comes out.
And to roll back into it too, and kind of highlight this and doing this heritage film and really put the message out there that you guys, we've talked about that, and I asked you before we got started here that you both have kids, and how important that time is that you get to spend with your kids, or whether it's your dogs or whatever you may have at home. But in the cattle business or in the livestock business, I mean, we're trading our time for profitability and performance. That's what we're doing every day. And so if we can allow customers to get more value out of their time, and allow them to practice better animal husbandry because they don't want to see that cow lay there any longer, that brings some true insight, and true value to them at the end of the day is, hey, I can be more efficient with my time here, do a better job up front. My animal husbandry can be better, and my overall herd health can be better as well.
That's awesome. When you were with us in Alabama for the Grass Time Special at Elite Livestock, was that 3 weeks ago, a month ago, something
a
like
month
that?
ago, probably.
What'd you think of that production?
I thought it was great.
Wasn't it?
Thought it was great.
That was an
I wish I'd have
awesome
been. I
set.
heard it was a blast.
That was a
Maybe I'm
phenomenal
feeling
set.
this wrong, but I feel like the Southeast is on fire right now. I think it's just going really good.
We're
We're getting out of this drought also. We're kind of getting out of that.
Well, you gotta. There's a set of guys down there.
They're doing a great
Willie
job.
Leet and those guys. I mean, I love being around them things, and
Yeah.
they're always got a positive attitude. They're energetic. They got a lot of people around them that are wanting to do some stuff, and they're the cattle that they're selling are good.
Yep.
I mean, like I said, there's a lot of excitement down there around that and kind of generating, that business and that group of producers that are down there.
The knowledge that they have of the industry in that part of the country is unparalleled, for one. Their customer service is top notch, and you won't find a bigger a collection of people in the industry that are more honest and knowledgeable than those guys are. So
Well, and they work
Yeah.
really well together, and really they've got conflicting. I mean, they could be like
Yeah.
kind of jabbing each other for whatever commissions or things like that. But when I've talked to them and I'm like, hey man, where are you at? I got a guy that's down there, or we might sell some cattle or whatever. I mean, them guys it's like, oh, you need to talk to so and so or whoever. It's not like they're trying to grab it all themselves. So they work very good as a collective group. Yeah, I think it's awesome.
The quality of the cattle down there has just went straight up as well. Obviously, the industry's climbing too, but I mean, there's a lot of guys in that area, and they're starting to shed some more light. And like I said, it kind of seems like it's on fire. That there's a lot of guys that are pushing a lot of really, really good cattle and bulls and donors and things like that out of that part of the country, and a really, really good set of feeder calves come out from down there. I mean, there's some of the larger ranches in the United States that are in South Florida as well. So there's a lot of cattle pushed out from down that part of the country.
Yeah, and the cattle guys are making pretty good money right now. and they're spending some money. What do they do? They're going to reinvest it right back in their business, and they're going to spend some money on pretty good bulls.
And that's a hot. I mean, the cattle industry. You guys know this as well as I do, but I mean, it's a hot topic right now. There's a lot of folks that have never been around a cow that have a lot of cows right now.
Oh yeah,
which is great. It's phenomenal. I'm glad. They're learning a lot about it. It's a great thing for the industry, but there's a lot of attention on the cattle business.
Oh no, it's been revitalized for sure. But
and what's impressive about that, I don't want to get too long winded here, but is they can read the data and know that it's like that, and we're in the lowest cattle inventory since the 50s or 60s. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe if we're going in that direction. But with these guys buying in, and I mean, we're talking about everybody selling cattle with the drought. I mean, I've had several customers talk to in the past couple of days. I mean, they're trying to buy cattle.
Yeah.
Whether that be ET transfers, recips for that program, or just stuff to AI or bull breed too. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you see what these commercial bred heifers are bringing, it's unreal, man. There's a lot of excitement, which is, I love it. And I think it's great, and it's a great time to be alive in this business.
We lit a fire there in Alabama on a set of Florida commercial open breedable heifers. Just burned the place down on a set like that.
Not breds, just
ready
heifers,
to be bred. Yeah, ready to be bred. Well, we're gonna wrap it up here. I know you have the same question that I do for Casey. We talked about Reese, and he bought her a car. I just want to know: did you pay more for the goat or more for the car?
The car.
That's a valid question, though. It's a very valid question.
Hey, whenever I went to go buy a car, it was like putting together stuff out of a penny bank. Whenever you're buying one for your kid, you're like, what's the safety thing? Making sure they got all that stuff. Yeah. And it starts to kind of like push it. But I'll tell you what, have you tried to buy a car lately, a used car? They're high.
Well,
they're junky.
I just know what you paid for the goat, so I know the car's got to be fairly nice.
Yeah, it wasn't a Honda. Yeah. No.
Hondas do have a good safety rating.
Yeah. Hey, so Hardy, I appreciate you coming in here, man. I think it's awesome that you get so before we close out, how do guys get a hold of you?
Absolutely. No, you can Google VitaFerm. We've got actually a really, really good dealer map. And so you'll be able to know now and kind of who's got products. Yeah. You can just go on VitaFerm website, look at dealers near me. You can zoom out. It'll show you the dealerships kind of like a Google Maps scenario. And then at the bottom, it'll have your local ASM, area sales manager. So it may, in our part of the country, it'll list me. And then if you get further west there, it'll list Toby, and then obviously your reps as well. Same thing in Michigan, have a great guy out there, does a really good job. So it'll list that. It'll list their phone number. You can get out and contact with them. And feel free to reach out to any of the ASMs directly if the contact's listed there, and they can help you coordinate with the local dealer there to get it to you. We have a great dealer network across the country, and we're working to do as good a job with the product we can.
Appreciate you getting on here, man.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. We appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, we might. I'm gonna talk to Katie about maybe booting Ty off. How's that sound?
That'd be all right. Ty can go to Ty.
Yeah, we'll send Ty to Ty. Yeah, and then we'll keep Wade around here. But appreciate everybody tuning in today. Thanks for getting on the Live Ag podcast and watching. If you guys have any questions about how to get on here, or have any questions for Hardy or whoever, reach out to Katie at liveag.com. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.